it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my October wrap up. I read 6 books in the month of October, which I was pretty pleased with considering how busy the month of October was. So as always, this is going to be a vlog style wrap up. So I will insert all of the clips during the month talking about the books that I read. Hi guys, so it is Monday the 15th of October. And I thought I would update you on a couple of things that I've read. Actually last Sunday, which would have been 7th? I think so. 7th of October, I finished the audiobook that I was listening to, which was A History of Britain in 21 Women by Jenny Murray. I borrowed this from my library and I'm really glad I did. I really enjoyed it. This is basically a non-fiction book where Jenny Murray spends 21 chapters talking about 21 different women throughout British history who have been influential in British history in some sort of way. So for example, the first chapter is on Boadicea, and she's sort of talking about her as a female warrior, as it were, and the way that she led her troops. She talked about Millicent Fawcett in another chapter, obviously to do with the suffragist movement, and obviously various other women in there as well. This was a really informative and easily accessible history book. I felt like it gave a really nice introduction to each of these women, and it kind of it said enough that you knew enough about them and how they were influential, but it didn't go into loads and loads of detail to be a bit too heavy or to kind of bog you down in things that you didn't necessarily need to know, and it gave you enough to leave you thinking, oh well, you know, I wanted to find out a bit more about that woman or whatever. So yeah, I really did enjoy this. Jenny Murray narrated this herself, and I did find her voice very pleasing. She had a very sort of academic sounding voice and I quite enjoyed listening to it, so I would definitely recommend the audiobook. In the end, I gave this one 4 stars. I did think about giving it 5 stars, but then it just didn't feel like a 5-star book, and I can't really put my finger on why, but it was very good and I would definitely recommend it. And then sorry, I'm reaching over here, and then yesterday I finished The Lido by Libby Page. This is a very recent release. I believe it was released earlier in the summer, and it basically follows 2 women. One is called Kate, and she is a journalist at a local paper in Brixton, and she's quite young. I sort of say in her early to mid 20s, and she lives in a house share, but she's very lonely, and one day her boss asks her to cover a story about the possibility of the local Lido closing, and she meets Rosemary, and Rosemary is a much older lady. She's 87, and she has spent her whole life living in Brixton, and she spent her whole life going to the local Lido, and so she's obviously devastated about the possibility of it closing, and she wants to do something about it basically. And the 2 of them meet, and Kate interviews her, and they decide together that they're going to do something to stop the Lido from closing. But so it's about that, but it's also about their friendship, and it's about community and how the modern world is changing things for the good and for the bad. There was a lot of good commentary in here on anxiety and again loneliness, And I think that's where the comparison between this and Eleanor Oliphant comes in. I would say Eleanor Oliphant is about a much more unconventional character, whereas but that's what makes it different to this one. Still really enjoyed this. It was a really lovely story to read, great characters, great setting. I thought Libby Page had some brilliant things to say about modern life, and some brilliant messages in there, and I would definitely read other things that she brings out. I believe this is her debut novel, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. Hi guys, so it is Saturday the 20th of October, and this morning I finished Dolly, a Ghost Story by Susan Hill. This is one of my Speakathon books, and it follows the story of this guy whose name escapes me, and it talks about this house that he went to visit his aunt when he was a little boy, and his cousin Leonora, who also went to this house when they were a little boy, and something happened at this house involving a doll, and then the consequences of that creeps into their adult life. I'm not going to say any more than that because it is a very short book. It's less than 150 pages and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. What did I think of it? I thought the writing was very good. I'm currently reading The Woman in Black to my year 8s, and while it can be a little bit cumbersome in terms of sentence structure, the writing is good, it is atmospheric, it's clever. And the same goes for this one, although you've got less of a weaving of a story in this one, in the sense because it's obviously a lot shorter. But I didn't get the same atmosphere with this one, and I just wasn't that enamoured by it. It was a bit of a book for me sort of thing, you know. It was alright, but I probably wouldn't recommend it with that much enthusiasm, and I'm questioning whether I should keep it on my shelf actually. It is a really nice hardback edition of it that I bought in a bookshop years ago now. But yeah, I wasn't that blown away by it basically. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. Bit of a disappointing one, especially for my first Speakathon read, but you win some, you lose some. Hi guys, so it is Tuesday the 30th of October, and I thought I'd check in with you again. I finished a couple of books last week, but I didn't get around to filming my kind of mini wrap up for them, so I thought I would do it today because one of them I have to take back to the library today. So the first one that I want to talk about is Some Kind of Wonderful by Sarah Morgan, which is the second book in the Puffin Island trilogy. This follows the second friend in the friendship group called Brittany, and it's she was married to Zach 10 years ago, and then Zach walked out of the marriage after 2 weeks, and then she comes back to Puffin Island because she's been away doing an archaeological dig in Greece and she's broken her wrist, so she can't work on the dig anymore. So she comes home to Puffin Island to kind of recuperate and things like that. She bumps into Zach, and it's about them two and their second chance romance. So I've talked before about the fact that I love Sarah Morgan and I really enjoyed the first book in this trilogy, and I equally enjoyed the second book. Really, really good. Lovely to see the other characters again. So you go back to Emily's relationship, see a bit more of them during it as well, which is lovely. And yeah, just really cute romance. Yeah, just love her writing. So I gave this one 4 stars. And then the other book that I finished during the week was Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls 2. I read the first one of this in the summer, and so I decided to get the second one out from the library. It's just a continuation of lots of different very short stories about women throughout history, and some that are alive today, with really cute illustrations to go with it. Lots of women in here that I knew, but lots of women that I didn't as well. And these books are just so inspirational, and they're just such a good introduction to women who have been influential in history. So I will definitely be picking myself up a copy of this. This is a library copy, but I do want to buy myself a copy for my shelves. So again, I can dive in and out of this one and share it with maybe my potential future children and things like that. So yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. I just think these are such great books. Yeah, and I've been really impressed with them. Hi guys, so it is actually Sunday the 4th of November today, but I'm sitting here trying to edit my October wrap up and realised that I didn't film a clip wrapping up the first book that I read in October, which is always handy. So I'm going to wrap it up now. I don't have it with me because it was a library book, but it was called Sunset in Central Park, and it was by Sarah Morgan. So it's the second book in the From Love with Manhattan series. So we followed, oh, I can't even remember the characters' names now. This is ridiculous. This is why I do Vlogstar wrap-ups, because I get to the end of the month and I cannot remember what happened in the book. I'll be back. Okay, so back. Just had to remind myself of the character names on Goodreads. So this one followed Frankie. She's one of the 3 friends from obviously the original book, and also Matt, and he is Paige's brother. So they all live in his big townhouse somewhere in New York. I can't remember whereabouts it is. And Frankie doesn't trust men very easily. She had a really bad experience with relationships in the past, partly based on the fact that her mum divorced her dad after, did he have an affair? I think he had an affair, and then she went on to have a string of affairs with younger men and just completely embarrassed Frankie. So she kind of has, yeah, that's kind of affected her in the way that she deals with relationships, and she's a bit naive when it comes to relationships and things like that. So it's just about Frankie and Matt's romance, and yeah, it was just really sweet. They were working on a garden design project together. So she spent a bit of time away from the business that she set up with the other 2 girls in the first book, so it was kind of nice to see something different. And yeah, they're just really sweet. I've gone on and on about how I love Sarah Morgan's writing, so I'm not going to do that again here, but I think I gave that one 4 stars. So there you go guys, they were all of the books that I read in October. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Have you read any of these books? What did you think of them, and what did you read in October? Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.